Ho ho, how's it going, cinephiles? Deadmedia here. Back again to talk about another Christmas sequel nobody asked for. To be fair to this one though, I'm not sure anyone expected the original to gain much popularity at all. I mean, it was a Christmas comedy in 1996, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, Jake Lloyd, and Phil Hartman. So, the Governator, a comedian that some think played a genie, a child actor who quit acting after being heavily bullied for being Anakin Skywalker, and an SNL alumnus. If someone says they expected it to be popular in 1996, they're lying to you. Anyway, regardless of who was involved, Jingle All the Way was well received, or at least maintains a certain cult status. Enough so that just 18 years later, a sequel was greenlit. 18 years. Also, rather than give it a major theatrical run, it was direct to DVD. Also, it had nobody from the original movie in it. It's the obviously titled Jingle All the Way 2. This one feels kinda soulless to me, actually, but I figured out one of the possible reasons why upon rewatching it to make this video. One of the major studios involved in making it? WWE Studios. Yeah, them. They were responsible for making the terrible 7th Leprechaun movie. I mean, they're all terrible, but this one missed the entire point and feel of the prior 6. Wayne's World 2 was a better Leprechaun movie.
I'm the leprechaun. Garth, I'm the leprechaun.
Cool it, okay?
I'm off track. One more bit of trivia. This isn't even the only direct release sequel Larry the Cable Guy starred in that followed after a movie with a muscular lead. Anyway, our criteria this time are plot and writing, acting, dialogue, soundtrack, and visuals. Now, Larry's wife has remarried. He and she still have a decent enough relationship that they don't seem to be bad-mouthing each other to their daughter or anything, but yeah. She recently married this rich dude named Victor. Larry has a strong relationship with his daughter Noelle still, and wants to do everything he can for her, but as a part-time trucker, he doesn't have a lot of money to buy her everything she might want. Victor, on the other hand, wants to buy literally everything so he can attempt to gain the affection of Noelle. Larry looks at all these purchases and gets irritated and competitive. He doesn't want to let some guy just buy Noelle's affections, nope. So he gets her done and rednecks up a few attempts to make her like him better. Literally all of them result in him being launched good distances through the air. And I'm not using that word wrong, I really do mean literally. They only do it 3 times, so I guess they were attempting to capitalize on the comedy rule of 3, but I don't know. I also can't help but feel he was the wrong redneck for the job.
Remember, the women don't find you handsome. They should at least find you handy.
One day, Noelle writes a letter to Santa while she and Larry are sitting in the diner, and Larry comes up with a plan. He offers to mail the letter for her, but when he reaches the mailbox, he opens it to see what it is she wants most, and only trusts Santa to get for her.
Will you please write a letter to Santa Claus for me?
He can't quite make out what it says, though, and takes it to a toy store asking the clerk if he knows what it is that she wants. The clerk tells him that he thinks it's this big, popular teddy bear named Harrison that everybody wants, but they're sold out at the moment. Meanwhile, Victor has also attempted to find out what was in the letter, but Noelle won't tell him, so Victor has a lackey follow Larry to find out what it is. When he finds out, Victor does the sane rich person thing, and has the lackey purchase every single Harrison bear in town so as to keep Larry from getting one. Later on, unlike most movies, this actually has consequences, but I won't get into those or the little twist in there. I'll just say that it strays enough from the original for me to actually award them a kernel here. So, our leading man here, Larry Phillips, is played by Larry the Cable Guy. There's a comment to be made there about having the actor play a role where the character has the same first name as them, but Mr. Cable Guy's real first name is Daniel, so... Opposite him, as Victor, is Brian Stepanek. Wait a second. Do you recognize him? No. You know who he is? He's this guy. You know, just once I think it would be interesting to see Daniel Lawrence Whitney, aka Larry the Cable Guy, play a role that isn't just the stage persona he already has. Oh well. As for the performances in this one, the line reading is a bit stilted at times, and the actual acting on show is pretty rough. Young Kennedy Clements, who plays Noelle, is also guilty of the stilted readings, but otherwise probably gives the best performance of the movie, so good for her. We won't be rewarding a Colonel for acting here, though. There are actually a few decent lines of dialogue in this one. At one point, Larry has rigged up a horribly dangerous light display outside his trailer, and just before he flips the final switch, he says, "As they say in France, the peace of the resistance." Close enough, but dude, if you're doing that level of showmanship, just go Griswold style.
Joy to the world.
Another good quote is, again, from Larry. This time he's at the tree lot with Noelle and ends up accidentally stumbling into the machine that covers the trees in fake snow. After being completely coated in it and asked if he's okay, Larry replies, "I hope somebody got the license plate of that pigeon." Which was honestly one of the few laughs in this for me, and yeah, I know it was a poop joke. Leave me alone. Late in the movie, Larry and Victor are in a warehouse and they're about to fight. Victor starts doing some pseudo-martial arts style movements before saying to Larry, "I'm warning you, I've watched The Matrix 37 times. Which might just be some of the dumbest smack talk I've ever heard. Anyway, as per our standard regarding quote count, this one does not earn a Colonel since it only has 3. The soundtrack was interesting. It was mostly basic and by the numbers, not overly memorable, but they did license one song to use in here and they wanted to make sure it got used. It was played at least twice and for longer stretches. It was called Downtown Christmas by Eric Vasquez, and to my tastes wasn't even that good of a song. I suppose it fit with the aesthetic they were going for, but it doesn't really seem to contribute anything. And with nothing else of note to the entirety of the soundtrack, I don't think we can give them a Colonel. On to the visuals. For the most part, this movie looks fine. I mean, it was seemingly made on the cheap, but it doesn't look like a TV movie. It mostly looks fine. Except for when they throw Larry through the air all those times. That just looks hokey. This is another case of there not really being much to talk about in regards to a category, so rather than waste your time and pad this out,
Too late.
we'll call it here and not give him a Colonel. Now, let's tip out our bucket and see what we have. We have 1 Colonel. Now, this might be a quintessential moment for a Christmas spirit Colonel, but it honestly doesn't deserve it. And need I remind you, I only have 2 left. This movie is honestly not really worth your time. Like, I write notes during movies I plan to review, so I can remember what I wanted to say about them. And in this case, it's a good thing, because I think I've already mostly forgotten it again.
Stop! Stop! He's already dead.
But let's move on. It's time for Name That Frame. First off, let's reveal the answer to the round from my Rudolph sequel and Christmas Story 2 videos. That movie was The Family Man. Special shout out to Dad for suggesting it. Now, on to the new round. If you look at my TV, we have a still for a new movie or TV show, and as it is still December, this round will also be Christmas themed. Know what it is? Comment below. And as usual, if you have any ideas or questions, feel free to put them down there too. I'll most likely answer you. Anyway guys, that's it for me, but I'll see you soon with another one for this theme. Goodbye!
Bye.